Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the Retro Wrestling Room. We have a very, very special guest today. We have the host and wrestler from ChocoPro. We have the one, the only, Baliyan Akki. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, no, please. Thank you for having me. I used to do quite a bit of like talks like this, and I used to actually host ChocoPro literally every week, twice a week actually. So I was very used to doing this a lot. But I think in recent years, as the young generation of ChocoPro has taken the reins, they do the openings now, they do the hosting now, they do the MV. Every now and then I do as well. But I think I'm more of like the alumni
Yes.
coming back and like just doing once a while. That's the kind of thing my role now, which I'm happy about. But to get to talk about ChocoPro and to get to like do this one-on-one, like again, just nostalgic to me. Seems
Yes.
fun. So hi, thank you about that for that.
That's okay, no problem at
By the
all.
way, I don't know if you have coffee, but if you do, cheers.
I do. Oh,
Cheers to
that
all of
way.
you at home as well, people. Ah, yeah, you have a proper
I
coffee
do.
mug.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I changed mine. I got into a very bad habit of collecting mugs. I got into a bad habit of drinking coffee in the pandemic. Like that's the first thing I got out of the pandemic, by the way,
Hmm?
because I was doing a lot of work on the computer, basically, and I do not like working on the computer. I'm good at it, but I don't like it.
Right.
So I used to drink just straight coffee
Mm.
for like hours and hours, like 8 to 9 to like 10 coffees I would make.
Wow.
At my worst, I would do like 8 to 10 easy. And I remember just one day, all of a sudden, by the way, no warnings. May just comes straight to me and goes, starting tomorrow, no more than one. And I go, what do you mean? And he goes, no. Starting tomorrow, only one. Just one a day. That's it. You don't get any more. I'm like, okay. And uh, I took that because May doesn't really get like we fight a lot, but she doesn't really get like that straight. So I'm like, oh,
Okay.
that it must have looked incredibly shitty because she was so upfront about it. So I'm like, okay. And then I think to make up for it, she brought me. I that was my just starting of drinking coffee. So I wasn't really drinking like how should I say? I wasn't really drinking at like good prep. I just had like coffee bags and I would just
Yeah.
pour water on them, drip them. The
Yeah.
drip coffee is actually the most normal coffee in Japan. So
Mm.
I would just do like a drip on a bag and have a coffee ready. And then because May does not know anything about coffee at all, she bought me coffee. I think the day after, and like a day from then, just to like by the way, now that you only have one, just for a compensation gift, I
Yeah.
think. Basically, she gave me it, and it was beans
Right. Yeah.
instead of any. So she goes, "Is this different?" I'm like, "No, don't worry about it. It's just that I was not trying to put my hands in there because I know once I start, there is no going back from here.
Yeah.
So now that I have beans, I have to have a grinder. So I bought a grinder. I bought papers. I bought the nice ceramic. Do you know? I don't
Yeah.
have a plastic dripper. I have a ceramic dripper just
Okay.
because I don't want the coffee profile to change
Oh
from
wow.
plastic.
See, you've become quite the coffee expert now then.
Oh, it's too much. It takes too much of my time. My morning goes to coffee. Like that's the
Yeah.
first thing I do
Mm.
when I wake up. It's 20 minutes every morning.
Yeah.
That's what I grind I fresh beans. I know beans now, which is I feel sometimes shitty about. Like I have right now, and I try. I can't really hang on to like, oh, this is the best. This is what I drink. I don't do that. So more usually I like a on on average I like a darker roast,
Right.
but I change like there's a very nice like as you know when Japan does something they do things to the extreme.
Yeah.
That's how it makes, to be honest with you, I think I don't know what historian said it, but it's one of my favorite quotes about Japan. And it goes about the history of Japan, how to
Mm.
like really say something about Japan. It says, Japan is like everybody else, just a little more so.
Right.
That's it. They
So
don't do anything different. It's just that they do it everything, just a little much.
yeah,
When they, just a little much, everything, whatever they do, they don't do like anything too much different. It's just that they do everything just a little much,
a little bit more.
and the same. They have a little bit more, and there's this coffee place in Shimokuzawa, where, oh, by the way, where the Bahagaijin show happens. It's literally the same station. It's
Right.
literally like
Okay.
right next to it. Yeah. So there's one of my favorite coffee shop is there. The coffee shop is so great that when you walk like a naan house, like a curry house, you can smell the shop like
Right.
100 meters away
Yeah.
because they grind the beans and they basically, how should I say, they roast the beans open in the shop
Oh,
always.
okay.
So beans are like being roasted while you walk, and it smells heavenly. So you walk in, and they have like at least always they have at least 20 different variations from 20 different countries about the mixture of roast or the very pure breed. Let's just say right now I'm having a dark roast from Peru,
Mm.
and I'm really liking it. Yeah. You shouldn't have let me go on the
No,
coffee
it's okay.
rant. You should have
I
stopped me early on. No, no, no. I'm just saying.
I can't
You
add a
should have
lot
stopped.
more. I just have instant coffee.
Oh,
It's
no
not
joke.
quite the same.
It's not. I don't know about UK because I don't really remember. I didn't really used to drink coffee there, but now that I do, I go to US about
Mm.
coffee. Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart. Like
Yeah.
coffee, no joke. I That's why I drink latte now. I'm addicted to latte almost. I always drink latte because outside latte is drinkable. No matter where you go.
Right.
Latte, this milk just mellows everything out and it's drinkable. But straight up black coffee, it's criminal what US does to it.
It is.
Like I started drinking lattes because I would go to basically every morning. The flights are always at 5. You leave the house at 3. There's no way you can
Yeah.
sleep. So you haven't really slept the night and you're at the airport at 5 and it's always a headache. So I would get coffee. I'm like, yeah, at least let me juice these things up a little bit. And the first of all, they give like cola. They give like 500 milligrams of
Yeah.
black coffee. Wow, what is that?
I
So
don't
at
know.
least the smallest size is like 300
Mm.
milligrams, like at least. And then from there, it is so hot, that coffee, that it tastes like nothing.
Yeah.
Like literally, you cannot drink it. So I would, no joke, I would buy the coffee, sit in US in a airport right close to my gate. I
Mm.
would open the lid so it cools
It
down
cools down.
early.
Yeah.
And still, by the time it's drinkable, I'm on the flight. It takes like 25 to 30 minutes for it to be at
Just
a
a
temperature
yeah.
where you can drink it.
Mm.
And then it just tastes like how should I say, like non, it's a really bad way of saying it, but it really generally just tastes like shitty water. Not even like a
Right.
good or bad coffee. It just tastes like I think they call it Americano, but
Mm.
good, a good Americano is so great. But every now and then
Just
you find like nice cafes. Like there's one I found in Wolverhampton. We were
yeah.
doing, I think we were doing that the Beyond Russell Open thing, me
Right.
and
Okay.
May. And no, I think that time we were doing Beyond the main show, and we got there early and we walked around. And because it's the New England area, it reminds me so much of my time in UK.
Right. Okay.
Like that area, no joke, is looks exactly like Birmingham.
Mm.
Like if you go the, I don't like, I think that's why I realized like, oh, makes sense they call it the New England because
Yeah. Yeah.
the more deeper you go after Boston, especially once you go inside like the Wolverhampton area,
Mm.
it is exactly like Old England.
Right. Okay.
Like I've lived in no, not Wolverhampton. I'm so sorry. I keep calling it Wolverhampton. Worcester. I'm talking about
Worcester.
Worcester.
Mm.
So, right under Boston, Worcester, it's a venue called White Eagle. Apparently, it got stopped. It's kind of it's sad, but because me and May made our debut there. But we went there. Anything around Worcester and past it, looks exactly like Wolverhampton or Birmingham or those places.
Oh wow.
It looks the buildings are the same. They're
Yeah.
small like it. The way the roofs are the same. The way the bricks are laid are the same. Even like how should I say? Like one of the things is that every now and then you get like a very small church. It's not a
Okay.
big church.
Yeah.
It's like barely 2 stories, but you can tell it's a church right away.
Yeah.
Um, the way their steps goes a bit up, that style of like building
Yeah.
house is the same. It's it's freaky,
Yeah.
but I really like it. It has a really nice homely vibe,
Homely feel.
if that makes any sense.
Yes.
It's very nice. But yeah, by the way, all those things that I keep saying as a matter of fact almost by now um, is because of ChocoPro.
Mm.
Like I talk of going to US or Mexico or Asia or any place or US and doing matches tours. Like me and May did our tour in January right now
Yeah.
of 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 US. We did like 6 or 7 states, I think.
Hmm.
Every promotion we wrestled was a new one and all that. But I almost like now I'm in a habit of just talking about it like it's just a thing. It wasn't a thing. I remember me and May in the first year of pandemic when 2021 just started,
Right.
and Best Rose was a thing by then.
Mm.
Just started. We used to fight like how should I say? We used to fight like kindergartens, like just stupid kids. We generally did fight a lot about everything. We would yell and it sounds cute when I say it like this. It was not.
Okay.
It was ugly. It was ugly. We would fight so much, but we would every now and then when we were not fighting, and we would talk and do a live stream, and people would be like, "Oh, you should come here, meet this, and you would do that," and we would sit like
Yeah.
maybe someday we would like travel,
Yeah.
and and I think that around that time it was also extra like those words were really like dreamlike, especially because it was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like you really couldn't do anything.
No. No. Nothing.
So like not on, like we had so many layers, especially me, because I had the same passport I have right now, so I could not
Right.
travel
Right.
anywhere, even in a normal world. Forget about the pandemic world.
Okay.
So so um, the possibility of me ever visiting US, especially or Mexico, like the fact that I was in Japan was a miracle on its own. But that thing, it's really felt like a dream
Mm.
to be able to do that. And because we would like every night we would sit and talk to like hundreds or 200 of people and just be like, oh, where are you from? And they would say, I'm from Phoenix, I'm from Arizona, I'm
Yeah.
from this, I'm from Philly, I'm from, you know, just New York. There's so many people from New York
Yeah.
with Choco Pro. But like they would just be like, oh, you should come and it'll be so much fun and all this. And we would talk.
Mm.
We would generally talk like me and you are talking.
Right.
The magic during those streams was just it. You can't create it.
No.
Like it's almost like nature. You can try, you can emulate it, you can make it nice and pretty, you can make it smell good, you can do all those things about in your home, in your garden,
Mm.
but you can't really create
No.
that thing when you walk, let's just say 20 minutes from your highway. That
Right.
feeling you get, like the back of hair on your neck stands up. You don't
Yeah.
know
Mm.
how this will turn out. But you're also very happy because it's just very nice. But you
Yeah.
also have a bit of a fear always there for some reason.
Yeah.
Like that thing, you can't really do create it. And I think our when we started doing Choco Pro and that those streams and in those times was just that was magic. That's why even now I'm mostly friends with all them, by the way. All the
Yeah.
Choco Pro fans I've met, like I've I would go to me and May would go to like US and people would show up with like things
Mm.
and they would go, oh, I've watched Choco Pro all of this and the thing we get the most, which is ridiculous, that we have like you would get this even once from a fan, from
Mm.
somebody who watches you. The most thing we get ever is people would come up and say, "Oh, it saved my life."
Right.
It kept
Yeah.
me sane. And it was this, and I was able to get my life back together, and
Mm.
like I met one in Boston, no, in New York on a signing just now, and he said like I have a baby now. I'm very happy. I didn't know anything was like I was just nothing was I was just in a dark place, and now everything is good now, and thank you and all that. Like it's how should I say? It's almost too much to like take on. You can't take it
Mm.
on
No.
because
Yeah.
technically I did nothing.
Yeah.
Like from my point of view, I'm like, no, I was just you guys helped me because I had nothing to do. You
Right.
guys gave me something to do. And we didn't even do anything special. We just sat down for hours every day and it was just like you guys were there for us and we were
Mm.
here for you. And that's all that time was.
Well, one of the things I was going to say to you, with
Yeah,
ChocoPro, um, the one thing that I've noticed online between
yeah,
that promotion and seemingly any other promotion, you never really see any negative feedback at all, or at least I don't. A lot. It seems very, very positive. The atmosphere there seems positive, and the atmosphere
yeah.
online seems very, very positive.
I think I think it's multi-layered,
Mm.
first of all. I think the very first thing, it comes from Emi Sakura. It comes from how she thinks of wrestling. What's wrestling to Emi Sakura? Emi Sakura has a very unique style of wrestling. Like I think she has her own style of wrestling.
Right.
That's why Gatomu's wrestling, like ChocoPro's wrestling now, is a bit different from like most places.
Mm.
I mean, it is the same roles, it is the same bumps, but the way they convey something, like yeah, stuff like that.
Mm.
But like the way they want to convey a physical story to you
Mm.
is very different compared to most places.
Yeah.
Most places, it is a violent thing that we do.
Mm.
Think of it like this. It is very violent,
Mm.
technically. Wrestling is supposed to be violent. We're fighting. But I think the way Choco Pro, the way Emi Sakura does wrestling basically, is that, ah, May was mad about that. That one, that I she was not happy about. But yeah, and I can't talk. This is very good.
Oh,
But yeah, just let me keep talking because it's basically disrupt.
yes.
But the way I think Emi Sakura's wrestling comes about is you forget that it's violence.
Mm.
Think of it like this. If you see a fight in on a road, makes you uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? If somebody yells next door to you, it makes you uncomfortable.
Mm.
But if you go and take your kid to, let's just say, like a karate class, that thing does not exist there, even though it's the same punching and boxing. It's not
Right.
really a
Okay.
really nice example, but I'm trying to set the vibe as to
Yeah.
what it is. And I think the quality of Emi Sakura's wrestling, the thing that makes it separate, is that it is the best at and tries really hard to make you forget that it's a violent thing that you're watching.
Mm.
People like we beat the hell out of each other. Chopro has some of the most ridiculous, painful like strike exchanges,
Yeah.
but that's not the point. You're not watching it because it's hurtful. That's not the quality that you're, even though it is, even though it's the same thing. But what makes your heart flutter when you watch it is not that it's cool because it's pain, like, oh, what an incredible or crazy thing he did, or how much it must have hurt, or all those things. That's not the point.
Right.
The point I think come from way more than the fight from underneath, if that makes any sense.
Mm. Yeah.
The whole, I think the whole wrestling of Emi Sakura screams, you can do it.
Mm.
And it's okay to fail doing it.
Right.
You can fight again.
Yeah.
like think of it like how ChocoPro is structured. Like, because I've done it for 5 years now, and I've thought endless hours about it. Even now, every day, at some like I can't help but not think about it. Think of it like this: the whole ChocoPro show is structured as in there's three matches. First of all, it starts with like somebody coming in and greeting you and kind of easing you in.
Right.
It doesn't start as like "Wah, bah, bah, bah." It doesn't start like that.
No, it doesn't.
Or you opens and somebody's just in 30 seconds later somebody's punching. No, it comes with a host who tells you this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and they kind of draw you in, they kind of mellow you in. Then wrestlers come in and they, instead of just making a cool entrance as fighters, they kind of come in and talk. They talk about today what they want to do, what they want to get, what they want to achieve. Like like Hiyori, who's a new kid who's working very, very hard right now,
Mm.
would come in and say, "Oh, even though it's been 8 months, I have not won a match on my own. I have not pinned anybody to
Okay.
this day. But today might be the day. I'll do my best. The odds are against me, but I'll do it." Like that's what she would say, something like that, something to that extent.
Yeah.
Here, I think it's starting to flutter out now and starting to make fun of people. I think our comments are getting more and more outside the like the very fighting, the very new kid genre. But she's still like something like that. And then the match starts. Even though you haven't realized it, they have set you in a particular setting.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
already in a particular mindset. And then the match starts and it's very hurtful and she gets beat up, most likely. And she tries her best, but more so than likely she will lose. And then that will keep going on in two matches, and somebody might go like a big thing, but it just it's not about like instant gratification in any sense.
Okay.
It's actually very sad. Like ChocoPro in technically is very it's a very almost cruel in how it is.
Mm.
Because when like it's like if you go back and watch those pandemic matches, they are heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking matches. I've been through some like emotionally like it could traumatize you. That's the level of like emotional strain on it. But the point isn't that you're a superhero. The point isn't that. The point is you I'll try
Mm.
and then I will lose.
Yeah.
And it's okay to lose because you can try again. That's basically the thing. I think that's what's like the whole wrestling is about. That's why I think one of the big, incredible thing is that at the end of it, we do a Junkin tournament
Yes. Yes.
where everybody gets a chance. Think of it like this. We have had some of the most heart-wrenching, just come on, how can you
Hmm.
matches? Just like because I've commentated on some of the matches. I've wrestled some of those matches, and it's painful to be there, like in the air, and one Junkin win
Changes it all.
changes it all.
You've recently, well, Choco Pro actually threw you a 10-year anniversary of your wrestling career the other day. Um,
Yes,
with a lovely
couldn't believe it.
celebration. We've got some clips from it
Yeah.
here. Um,
Oh yeah, I got beat up
I
on
was going to say,
on.
that's exactly what I was going to mention. We call it a celebration, but
It's not really.
no. there, there was a cake at the end, we'll give it that, but you did take
Yeah.
quite a lot of punishment on that day.
Oh yeah. The whole point was to get beat up. Technically, everybody got a chance to beat me up.
Yep.
But I think that's what I'm saying. Like, it seems like we are very happy-go-lucky. We are not at all. ChocoPro is the most. Like, I famously said that the reason I think ChocoPro isn't really like happy-go-lucky is because they will, like in ChocoPro, if you fell,
Mm.
they will cheer for you. They will wait for you. They will stand by you. But they won't give a hand.
Mm.
They won't
Right.
be like, oh, here, let me get you. No, they won't do that. They will wait, but you have to stand yourself.
Yeah.
That's how Joker works. They won't. They just can't. It's incredible. That's why it's like for the young kids who joins Jogo Pro is very, very difficult. because up above the quality is incredibly high, and for them to just emulate it right away is very, very different to produce that quality. But instead, it's not like they won't like Emi Sakura. I think that's the reason she gets to be said to be most likely the greatest trainer I
Mm.
think wrestling has ever known. Um, uh, and she would hate me saying that. She does not like it. By the way, try asking her. It'll be incredible. But she have never said do this to any of her students. That's why I think everybody in ChocoPro is so unique. They are
Right.
so different. They are in the way they wrestle is different. The way
Mm.
they talk is different. The way they dress is different. Everything about and it's impossible to get. Even in normal offices, people start to like look like each other and talk like each other.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't help it. That's
Right.
human nature. Every place has a vibe. And I think for us, the only vibe that matches us is our wrestling. Apart
Mm.
from that, everybody is such an individual. And I think that's because Ami Sakura never really teaches you how to be. She teaches you the path.
Mm.
Oh, walk this. How? No, I'm not helping you at all. Nobody helps. Literally, nobody helps. Nobody
Right.
tells you do this. They will tell you, not this. If you start walking a wrong path, they will help you. Like, oh, no, not there, not there. Just to the left, but not how to or be to. That's why everybody turns out into a complete individual. That's why everybody turns out so different because everybody is different.
Yeah.
It's just that Emi Sakura is incredible at, but it's hard. Try like it's like freaking trying to find trying to find spirituality level of alone path. It's difficult. It's hard. It's so hard. In the beginning, it's so hard because
Yeah.
everybody just does it, and you're like, I can't do anything, and they don't tell me what
Yeah.
to do. Tell me, and they're like, no, 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 you'll find it. We believe in you. They will help. They're very cheerful. They cheer for you. They do everything, but they won't tell you what to do, and it's so hard. In the beginning, it's heart wrenching
Yeah.
because you kind of feel lost, but they are always there. So you can't really be like, it's hard because they're always cheering for you.
Mm.
They kind of believe in you. They're morally incredibly supportive. But you gotta stand up yourself.
Yeah. On
Like
a Oh,
like
go on.
it's not only the Aki celebration for 10 years. Even Best Bros, we have this is our fifth year as a team, and we
Mm.
do a celebration of ours because we have the same birthday.
Oh wow,
We
I didn't
have
realize that.
all our birthdays are on the same day, 30th of May. By the way, that's the only silly reason Best Bros even existed. Just a just a random silly reason. Somebody in the chat, I think 30th May was coming,
Mm.
and somebody in the chat just randomly said, I don't know why. I think it was regarding some explanation I was doing in English, and somebody just called us Best Bros.
Nice.
Just on I don't even know who called it. Just in the chat, somebody
Mm.
says Best Bros, and then people started calling us Best Bros. And then we got a match on our birthday, 30th May, because it's the same. We have the same birthday. We
Mm.
teamed, and people called that day that our team Best Bros. And
Right.
then
Okay.
from there it's just Best Bros. And also because we were very competitive, like I was kind of wrestling May instead of tagging with her when we in the beginning. That's why we used to fight a lot. We were very competitive. May is too. She hides it. She looks very nice, but she's a demon when it comes to competition. But and we have never celebrated our birthday 5 times now
Right.
on a happy note. Ever. No, like not even once. We lost we the this year, the last year, our
Mm.
birthday, 15th Jan, 30th of May. We wrestled. I think the team that we admire the most, you could say, in every sense, in every setting, like Mas Takanashi and Emi Sakura, who've been doing mixed matches
Mm.
for like since like 15, 18 years ago. As a matter of fact, have some of the best mixed matches you can imagine between Shinno Hagane and Yoneya Madoka, which is called Yoneya Madoka was the name of the team. Yoneya Kaori and Shinno Hagane. He used to be Madoka back then. And versus Emi Sakura and Mas Takanashi. The quality of those matches is just it's you can't even emulate, I think it. Like Best Bros we do a different style, so it might turn into a different thing, but you can't even. And we wrestled Emi Sakura and Master Konashi for the Asia Dream Tag Team title.
Mm.
The biggest, like, we couldn't wrestle them for 5 years. We've been trying to wrestle them for 5 years. We called them out. I think we bothered them a lot because even though we were supposed to wrestle somebody else, we'll just say their name. Like, who are you thinking about? I'm like, yeah, Jack and Hunters, come back. And like, but we did wrestle and lost
Mm.
on birthday
Oh.
and both of our birthdays. Oh yeah, always, always.
The
Breaks your
best.
heart a
Oh,
little, just a little, just a little, and
yeah.
then give you like Vaseline to put on it. That's ChocoPro
It is Choco
in
Pro.
a small snippet.
Best Bros. They've you've obviously done matches in Japan. You've done them in the
Yeah,
US, Singapore. You're
yeah,
actually going now to Manila as well. Is
yeah.
that coming up
Philippines.
soon?
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to Philippines and India.
Oh, and
I've
India
been
as
trying to
well.
bring ChocoPro to India for years now, but I think this is my 10th year in
Mm.
wrestling. I've just completed 10 years on 27th of January, and I felt like now was the time. Like I wanted to do it last year, but I couldn't because of schedulings and all those things.
Mm.
And this year, I think finally, I don't know what shape it will turn out to be because we're gonna try it for the first time. So I think me and May are, of course, going anyways, and I think we would like a few other wrestlers from
Mm.
Choco Pro to go with us and do something. We can't really do a show like a Choco Pro show because to do a show in India, I would have to stay there because there's nobody who can do anything of a of a show there.
Right.
So unless I commit and stay there for like 2 weeks
Mm.
and get everything ready for a show, get the venues ready, because there's nothing. Like when people think to put a show on, the things that you take for granted, none of that are there. Like think of it like you want to buy a bicycle, but there's no tire. So you got to start at a place where they might make tires and
Right.
get that ready. Then think of the bicycle. Like that's
Mm.
how doing a wrestling show in India is like.
Because I've heard you talking
I
about
have a
India
ring of
before.
my own.
I've heard you talk about India
Yes?
before. Um,
Yeah.
and when you were describing it, you said like there wasn't really a wrestling scene there, but
Oh no,
wrestling is
at all.
also, on the other hand, it's also massive there. I
Oh
think you were saying
yes.
it's like next to cricket. You know, it's so
Oh
popular,
yeah.
but
Oh yeah.
it's really strange, isn't it? You would have thought there would have been some
John
sort of
Cena
scene built
can
up.
shut a city down in India.
Wow.
Let me say that one more time. John Cena, no joke, can shut a city down. Literally.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody in Hollywood as big as John Cena in India,
Wow. Why do you
like,
think that's not
technically.
translated to
The
somebody starting like wrestling promotions
Oh,
there?
it did translate it. Look at this.
Well, yes. Good point.
A little bit, but yeah, and I think it's just because it got away from us. It's like think of it like this: you've been watching movies all your life, right?
Hmm.
Have you thought about making a movie?
Hmm. All right.
Right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
If it's even a little bit closer, let's just say if they were doing that show in India, then you would go watch it live and then be like, oh, this is what it looks like. Let's maybe people would play about it. They would do play wrestling, and then somebody would be serious about it, and then somebody might start a like, somebody from that promotion who was running it get out of the company and start their own promotion,
Hmm.
like things like that. But the problem is if we have no connection to it, I think if it was 3 steps away, then somebody might be able to jump 3 steps. But
Right.
it's so much more steps away that you can't even count those steps. We have like if you see a movie being made, you can think of and imagine yourself. Oh, I can do that. I have a camera.
Hmm.
But movie technically is magic to us. It just shows up on our screen and we enjoy it and we go home. We don't really think about how that came about because we have no connection to that side. We have never seen it. We haven't seen these people ever. The people we're seeing on our, they're almost not real people because we only see them on our screens.
Hmm.
They're kind of like made up figures to us, technically. That's why when we see them live, people freak out when they see celebrities because they're kind of not real people because you take them for granted almost that they're there, but you have never seen them. You have not seen, wow, this movie is made. How is this even working in a theater? How many people who watch a movie in a theater know how that works? How is this theater working? Why is there a picture on that big screen?
Yeah.
Technically. And to do wrestling, you need to know those things.
Yeah.
When you know those things, you kind of know behind the curtain, and then you're like, oh, I can make this.
Right.
And I think because we are so apart, just like a Hollywood movie, because we have been watching wrestling for like 30, 35 years now on our TV, but it shows up on our TV just like a movie. Every week, 3 hours, it's there. Just like Brad Pitt shows up to our screen or Johnny Depp shows up to our
Yeah.
screen, just the same thing. That's John Cena. So like because there's no connection at all, it just extra. You need a like a really a bit of a mental person. Like, oh, I'll do it. How? I don't know, but I'll do it. And I think I was just saying like for good or bad, I was one of those mental people who who decided like, oh, I'll do it. With no hope and everything. Like I remember telling my parents, I'm not joking, right after high school, because I went to kind of like a, if you think about it, a good high school. Like my best friend is doing his PhD from IIT Mumbai, which is the best college in India. And let me say that one more time. It is the best college in India. We have some of the most brightest students in the world. Most of the engineers and doctors, even in your country, comes from my country. That's how
Yes.
many good
Yes.
students we got.
It is.
But like he's doing his PhD in I think how should I say in the most advanced version of biology, like where you're thinking about like autonomous robots and all those things in biology, so they can help like really just the most advanced phase of biology and a doctorate you can imagine. And he's doing his PhD from that college, the number one college. Like that's the kind of school I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I told my parents that I'm gonna do wrestling, and they literally asked me how, and I said I don't know.
Yeah.
That was my, and they're like, for a proposal, this sucks. For a plan to tell to your parents, it has no plan. And I'm like, I'm gonna start now. Like I was in, because I was in a boarding school. I'm like, I couldn't really search before,
Mm.
technically. So now I'm gonna search, and they're like, yeah, okay, just don't get killed. I'm like, okay, and basically, but yeah, and I think because in the last 10 years, like I've traveled considerably. Like my life should not be this. My life should be that I kind of live in or close to Delhi. I
Mm.
have a good job. I make, I'm a little bit overweight, worrying about it. Um, my parents are thinking about getting me married because it's India now,
Mm.
technically from the age. All of my friends are starting to get married, which is fun now. I can't believe it. Um, and just go to a job, make good money, have fun, drink a lot. I think that should be my life, really. Like I would most likely be an automobile engineer right now because I really love bikes. I still do. But this shouldn't be my life. I shouldn't really, like I am in trouble because I'm trying to get in like hardcore shape. But every time I really come to like a close point, like every month and a half, that I'm really trying to dial it in, my next store shows up and I go to someplace else for like 2, 3 weeks.
Mm.
Uh, like in October, it was India and another country. Then in January, I like in October I came back in November, December I was free. In January I was in US for I think 2.5 weeks, something like that. I came back in January. February I was free, but in March I'm going to Asia and India again. And I think most likely in April or May, I think I'm gonna do Asia plus one more country again. Then I'm most likely gonna do Europe this year,
Mm.
and India. I think in between. I think on regular basis now because I really want to do there. I really want to make ChocoPro thing there as well. So to think like the amount of countries and continents I've been to, it is ridiculous to me. It shouldn't be. Like it's almost like a cheat code that you shouldn't have.
Right.
Like I go and work in US as a pro wrestler, like legally. My work visa says pro wrestler. That's the only thing I'm allowed to do in US. Same thing with Mexico. Same thing in Japan. Like my residence card here says wrestler on it. It is ridiculous to me. It shouldn't be. Like in any sense, that should not be a reality that I'm living. But I am. And it's now that 10 years have happened, which itself, like, I keep, like, when that show was happening, it was one of the most weirdest shows I've done because I couldn't really put a, like, a thumb, like a point on it. Like, why, like, how?
Right.
To me, it still hasn't settled in. That has been like 10 years. How it's been 10 years? What do you mean 10 years? I still feel like, when you like prep for a big fight, let's just say if you're a martial artist or you're prepped for a big, let's just say if you're a racer, if you're somebody who runs an athlete and you're prepping for 100-meter nationals, you run, run, and run and run and run. I think my competition, which I'm running for, is like a month away still. Like I feel like in prep,
Right.
I feel like things are barely starting. How is that 10 years?
Right.
Like how what do you mean? Like the only thing that I feel like that makes me feel like I have a bit of a career under me is that I have a busted knee now. That's the only thing that that basically gives me
Yeah.
proof that is I've been wrestling for quite a long time. Like that's the only thing. But
Going
it
back.
does
Oh,
like
go on.
yeah, please.
Oh no, I was going to say, going back to Choco Pro, I was speaking to Brian Idle the other night.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
He was talking about his time in Choco Pro. I think it was Gato Move then.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but we were talking
I think
about
he did like
Choco.
two shows. I wasn't here during that, but I remember. I've met him
Yes,
a few times.
and I really wanted to break it down because I wanted to see with him, who's quite a big wrestler, how it
Mm.
was going from, I don't know, saying 18 by 18 ring that he's used to just going
Yeah.
by those tiny mats where the crowd are so close to the mats that they almost have
Oh
to
yeah.
move their legs sometimes just to get out the way of things.
Oh yeah.
Um, but when we were talking about Choco Pro and you were saying about how you and Emmy kind of just let the characters become themselves, they kind of morph their own characters and styles. It
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
seem to
To find themselves.
stifle their creativity at all. It almost makes them become more creative, I feel like, in that kind
Yeah.
of.
Like think of it like this. Let me break it down for you. When you went to school, when you were a kid, you were quite unique. You used to draw a lot, you used to do stupid things. Some were aggressive, some were kind of shy, some would run around, some would punch people, but some would only run away when somebody was punching. Everybody was different. And then school sat you down and told you to be uniform. Don't think, do what we tell you. That's what school does, for good or for bad. They basically sit you down and told you this is the things you need to care about and forget about everything else. Just this. That's it. And now imagine going to a school where they said, what do you want to study? They're like, do I need to sit? It's up to you. That's you are supposed to be here for 6 hours. This is school. Do you want to run around? Go ahead and run around. Do you want to find this interesting? This is here too. Just find it. We have everything.
Mm,
Just run around and get what you want to get. And they're like, okay, but you do need to know how to like add and subtract because you kind of need that in life. Same with wrestling. You need to have the base. You need to be able to do the wrestling part safe.
mm,
So that you will be trained on. Rest. You do you. Now imagine that in a school. And now, it, even now, right now, you can imagine like 1,000 possibilities kids would have in 10 seconds.
Mm. Yeah.
Same thing. It adds to their creativity because it never stifles it. It never tells them there's a way to be.
Mm.
There's none. And most what do you know how like interesting wrestlers become interesting? This is also a theory when like people say that quite a bit, is that having so much freedom from the get-go is actually difficult. It is very difficult because technically what happens is everything and everyone tries to kill whatever unique thing you have
Right.
and make you something proper, something anybody can work with, something you can do anything, but technically you do nothing. But some people who are really into it, some people who can't help it, breaks that mold and find their own thing, even still. And those people become very interesting wrestlers, especially on the indie scene. That's what makes it, that's the process of an independent wrestler, technically. How hard-headed are you that you would do you against everybody's advice and everybody's, even your own advice? Because you know that will not help in the beginning. To be
Right.
your
Yeah.
own thing does not help, believe me.
Mm.
It does not help on the independent circuit. But will you are still hard-headed enough to do it? And some people do it, and that's fine. I think some people like that having that pressure on because only the really hard-headed ones, only the really creative ones go up. But everybody has those creativities. Nobody that has nothing. There's no such thing. Even by the way, when everybody's so eccentric and everybody's so this and that, the people who don't have all those things actually shine
Right.
because they have the very absence of those theatrics. And that stands out on its own because they really are straightforward, because they really are someone who would look in you and like, I'll do my best. Not everybody can do that.
Right.
Not everybody can really just like that's why like it's unfair in wrestling because when somebody says it, I believe them, and when somebody else says it, I don't, and I don't know why. It's so unfair. But sometimes it just some for some people it just is. They don't need that theatrics because they are not them. That's not them. They just are very straightforward, really. And when they say something like that, like all I want to do is fight my best and win, like something like very simple, it's just gold because you believe them.
Mm.
And I think that's why the system that Emi Sakura has, where not really, I don't think it's a system. I think it's just how she is. She can't help it. I don't think she tried to make a system. I think that's what like shines to her in wrestling. And somebody is so unique that it almost surprises her.
Right. Talking of Emmy, you and Emmy were once a team. You won the Super Asia. Sorry, not the Super. Yeah, it was the Super. No, the Super Asia is the singles one. I apologize. The
Yeah,
Asia
Asia
Dream.
Dream.
Asia Dream.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
apologize.
me and Sakura-san never won the Asia Dream Tag Team Championship. I think it was I've only won Asia Dream with May
With May.
twice now.
Right. Okay.
Yes. Ami Sakura has won it with Mas Takanashi quite a bit. I think they were the champion when I just joined Katamu. They were intimidating. They were the coolest.
Yeah.
They would run circles around you. It was hard to wrestle. It was heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
But when you've teamed with both of those,
Yeah.
what were the differences between those two teams?
Oh, with like me and Sakura-san and me and May.
Hmm.
Oh, Ami Sakura is how should I explain this? In the most the most casual way I can say this is unpredictable. If you are not someone, if you're not the kind of wrestler who have the skills and enjoys that part of wrestling where you don't know what will happen
Hmm.
and you can still just do your thing incredibly well and incredibly nicely, then I think you will enjoy Emi Sakura a lot. She is she's a one-sided force. Either you tag with her or you wrestle her. It doesn't really matter. I think it's almost the same thing, to be honest.
Mm.
Because she's never off. Like what you see of Emi Sakura when she's wrestling, that's who she is. Even when we are sitting and talking, even like when we are, let's just say, simply when we tag, she might be as she might give you as much trouble as your opponents will, if that makes any sense.
Mm.
May, on the other hand, is she's turning though. She's becoming more and more on that side. May, on the other hand, is a little bit more of a like she works more solo.
Okay.
May isn't really like a tag wrestler. She doesn't really wrestle together, and I think that's why Best Bros is such a unique. Like Best Bros turned into a unique team because both of us are not tag team wrestlers at all
Right.
in our own thing. Like we don't like I'm not really a good tag wrestler at all, and it's the thing that makes my wrestling mine has nothing to do with like corporation, if that makes any sense. And I think May is very similar. But I think Emi Sakura might have been like that. And then she just expanded her craziness to like anybody who's involved.
Mm.
That's why I think ChocoPro is so chaotic. I think that's why that venue is so chaotic. And that's why people just like to sit in that danger, but they know they're safe at the same time. Like um, it's, I think May, in maybe in 5 more years, might be something close to that because they are scary similar in many ways.
Mm.
The only thing I must say is that Emi Sakura is more nice. I mean,
Okay.
Emi Sakura is way nicer. People would not believe it. Like if the people who know Mei and know Emi Sakura, they will say Emi Sakura is the devil, and Mei is
Right.
so nice. But that's not
And it's
true
not. It's
at
the
all.
other.
It's the other way. Emi Sakura is way nicer. She's an angel. Like Emi Sakura is the best person I think I've ever met
Mm.
in all sense. Like genuinely, like the best person I know of everybody I've met, and I think everybody I probably will meet. Maybe I might meet like a Mother Teresa saint or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
but um,
That's
Emi Sakura
such.
is the best person
That's such a
in
lovely
everything included.
compliment. That's
No,
it.
she really is. She's the best person. It's hard to imagine um, anybody who can be like above it.
Mm.
Because how should I say? She's an extreme case of empathy,
Right.
and I mean to the extreme. She's just too nice.
Mm.
Like I don't know if it's the place to say it, but um, everything I have, literally everything in my wrestling life, in my career, like everything, like all my friends, everybody I hold dear to my life have a connection to ChocoPro.
Mm.
The place I live, the place I pay rent to, like this wall behind me, the reason I live and I kind of live my dream. That's all I wanted to be. I wanted to be a wrestler. I wanted to make a living and prosper as a wrestler. I wanted to do it in Japan. I live in Tokyo on my own. The only thing I do is wrestling. I pay my bills with wrestling. The food I eat is from wrestling. The flights I take, the flyings I do, when I go back home, the gifts I bring, all of things, everything comes from wrestling. All of my friends are from wrestling. Apart from school, the only people I can call friend are from wrestling,
Yeah.
and mostly from Choco. And almost all of those things are, um, in one way or other, due to that woman, I mean Sakura.
Right.
Like it is, I'm not even saying like and also like the incredible thing is that she won't feel that way. She
Really.
doesn't feel like she gave it to me in any sense. No, 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 of course not.
Mm.
In her sense. I earned it. That's what I'm saying. She's the best person I know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, at all. Like if I said that to her, she would be like, "No, what the hell are you talking about? What do you mean?"
Mm.
Like to her, it makes no sense at all that she gave anything to me, but she has. Uh, um, it started from her, because of her.
How
Like
many
because of her,
people?
I have best bros.
How many
She's the one
people do
who,
you think would say that same sentiment about Emmy?
not many, because she's too complex. She's unless you like really know her, you can't really know her. She's too extreme. You gotta be
Right.
all in.
Okay.
It's different. It's really difficult. There's no 40% with Emi Sakura.
Mm.
There's none of that. Like if you are, unless you're 100 or you're not, there's no in between. Because she will do, yeah, yeah, she will do anything. I cannot imagine there's anything she won't do.
Mm.
She is the best,
I'll throw it
really.
back. Earlier, you mentioned that you're not a very good tag wrestler. I will disagree, um,
Yeah,
but
I yeah.
you and
Please go ahead.
May have one of the best tag team finishing moves that I can remember. How did you come up with this move? And every time I watch it, I kind of almost, I don't know, my mind still doesn't quite compute. Even in this slowed down clip,
Yeah.
it almost feels at some point that it's meant to go a different
Do you know
way, and
why?
it throws me every
Like,
time.
even though it's such a cool move, it's not really like copied a lot, if that
No,
makes any sense. I have never seen anybody even try to do this.
no,
Um, but one of the biggest reasons is like even myself, I have a hard time thinking about it. You don't really know where the force is coming from in that move. That's
right,
why it doesn't make sense.
yes,
Once May starts flying up, there's no actual one place where she's flying from. Like you don't know how is she turning.
mm,
Because the only thing I have is I have her hand in my hand so that I can keep her close to me. That's
right,
all. Apart from that, I can't be like I can do this. Like I can just turn her with one hand like a wheel. I can do that. You can't even do that to like 10 kilograms. May is not 10 kilograms. So that move has weird mechanics, like really really weird mechanics.
mm,
Uh, I imagined that move. I don't know where it come from. I really genuinely don't know. And I sat down with May and I said, I want to do this. And uh, May's someone who hates roller coasters. Like she's that kid.
right, okay,
We all have that kid that who just like now, just no, just don't. They just cries when they see a roller coaster, and their parents make them sit and they cry all the way. Like that kid. Yeah, that's me. With everything. She cannot handle that incredible shake and acceleration. She
mm,
can't handle. Like she's fine with heights. Height is okay. That is the most roller coaster like move in all of wrestling.
mm,
It is
yeah,
literally a roller coaster, that
mm,
move. And I remember we had to work like if we could have had this move perfected in like 2 days. And it took months.
mm,
It took months because May wouldn't do it. Like we would, first of
really,
all, to make her agree was hard. Yeah. We would be training it after like doing live streams and all at like 12 in the night before we go back at the dojo because the way we do live streams, the dojo is like next door
mm,
where the show happens. And we have mats there, like really big mats so that the citizen fall and all that. And as soon as I like start lifting, like turning her, she would just scream. Just scream. And because she would scream, I had to stop. I'm like, maybe this time something went wrong, and it never, anything never went wrong. It's just that she was like, ah, and then we would stop, and then it took months. I'm not joking. If I should have recorded those, because they would have been the best documentary
yeah,
of like 30 minutes going about. in like doing a move. Even now, like every now and then, she's like, "Nah, I'm not doing it." Even
oh,
now,
oh
sometimes
she can't give it up
the
now. She
reason we
has
do
to.
it in the match, like if we do it, if we like, we never practice this move, by the way. The last time we practiced dolphin press is 4.5 years ago. Like
Wow.
once we had it dialed in, once we knew this move was like our move, we never practiced it once. Because in the match, I think in a match she can justify it. In a match, as she's
Mm,
so like pumped with adrenaline and everything that she can kind of go through it.
right.
But if you're just training,
Mm,
if you're just training, she
yeah.
can do it. So like we have, once we stop training that move, we have never trained that move once in our life. We just do it in the match. It is ridiculous.
Crazy.
And that technically the move that I had in mind, I couldn't do it because May wouldn't agree. The original idea
Mm,
wasn't really like right now May kind of does a shooting star
right. Yeah.
into the move. She basically does a it's a wheelbarrow into a shooting star
Okay.
right now. Uh, the original move I had was way crazier that I wanted to do. Like
Okay.
really, the original move I had that I wanted to do was way more crazy. It had a 180 twist in it. I can't even describe it to you when the 180 twist was.
No, yeah. I
But
s-
yeah,
I was
it
just trying to
basically
think
had
in my
like a
head
180
where
twist with
it
us.
could be.
Yeah, I know. It's the original thing. That May would not agree to it. That's why I was like, okay, let's just do this then.
Yeah.
Like she wouldn't agree. So someday, maybe in like 3 more years.
Yeah.
I remember saying it like 2 years ago. I was doing like a talk with someone, and they asked like, well, and I said like maybe in 5 more years. So maybe in 3 more years, maybe, maybe, maybe
I saw
she'll be
a
willing to do that.
really lovely tweet that you put out. I think it may have, or maybe up to a year ago now, when you, Emmy, and May did that lecture at Kyoto School.
Oh,
Um,
May's school.
yes. And when I read your tweet about it, I still remember it now. You just saying about it was one of the most touching moments that you've had in wrestling, and it
Oh
really
yeah,
stuck with you. What was it about that particular day that really had that profound effect on you?
because I wasn't really technically wrestling. It was like those kids have nothing to do with wrestling. They are junior high school kids about to graduate. So they are, I think, 14 and 15. Uh, and in their school, technically they are in the mindset of education. They're not in the mindset of entertainment. And I got to see in all reality why people love wrestling.
Hmm.
What is it? Really, like exactly what is it? Why do a billions, like $1 billion industry, billions, tens of more than maybe industry revolves in the world on the thing called professional wrestling? I got to see it in its most raw baby form. I got to see the twinkle in in the eyes when somebody finds something they love. It's very hard to see. And I was so lucky that I got to because I saw girls, little like junior high school girls, like 14 years old, maybe just kids, watch May and what she can do. Especially like with me as best bros, we were showing them like dolphin press and we were
Hmm.
showing them all those crazy things. And she got their eyes, the way they lit up when they saw that May, who's like 4'10", 45 kilograms, can do that. Like it's just It's the most raw emotion you can feel of like admiration and love and on the altogether something that just makes you twinkle. And I got to see them literally in front of my eyes. Like I saw boys who were like just like they were so excited and jittery that they were just bumping with me.
Mm.
Like they couldn't
Right.
because I was speaking Japanese as well. But I'm a foreigner. Like if you live in Shinjuku and like if you know me, then you know like I'm a foreigner and I look like this, but I can speak Japanese
Mm.
just like I'm speaking English right now. But to them, it's a trip.
All right.
It's almost like their world expanded multiple fold every minute that passed. You could literally see them like their horizons expanding.
Mm.
You can see like a new imprint being put on their mind in front of your eyes. And you can see like why, really, really why wrestling is just such a unique form of like almost like communication. Like why is it that people that have never met me, that have no idea who I am apart from the screen, would send would in all sense if I said today that I want to do this, people help me, would send like literal money from all around. And I don't know what situation they're in. Maybe they are very fortunate, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're just like me, just normal living life. I don't know. But what exactly is it that makes somebody move that much? And I think I got to see it. And I think that's why I will never forget that day.
Mm.
I will never forget that day. And I think I got, and also like I've never said this, but in reverse, I got to see May look and feel the most beautiful I've ever seen her
Mm.
because there was those twinkles. Like I'm not the only one watching that.
Mm.
Emi Sakura cried
Really?
in the middle. She said, "I'm not joking." She said, and I quote, "She's happy she did wrestling all these years." It was that impactful.
Mm.
That's why Emi Sakura is like. I think that's why her wrestling is that way. It's for that. It's literally designed for that. They did like an exhibition, technically. They were supposed to do a 3 minute exhibition. They did a 10-minute match.
Mm.
It's like
Okay.
literally at the end of it, the teachers was like, can you do like a little bit of exhibition? I'm like, okay, I'll be the ref. And okay, and then they started doing the exhibition. And at the 3 minute mark, Emi Sakura just said, we're gonna do more. And they just kept going. Did a full on, I think 8 minute something match and just ah!
I always say
Yeah.
the same because I do live streams on here and
Yeah.
watch-alongs with things like Raw and Dynamite,
Yeah.
and there's been a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Backlash, shall we say, against Jey Uso at the moment after he won the Royal Rumble. There was a bit of backlash because he wasn't the cool person to win that, say, the older crowd wanted to win. And when I
Oh.
was watching Raw the next night, the amount of kids there with their Jey Uso t-shirts on, and when he was coming down to the
Oh yeah.
crowd,
Oh
and you
yeah.
just saw all these kids, and they were so ecstatic that he had won, and they were just so
Oh yeah.
ecstatic to see him come in, and you thought that's what it's about.
Oh yeah. I don't think people understand. WWE chose their main audience as kids a
Mm.
long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't know why people don't realize it. You should.
Yeah.
And to me, like, how should I say? How should I say? If a movie is being played, Let's just say, let's just say, and it has a sad ending for some reason. It could be in any shape and form a sad ending. There would be nobody who leaves that theater saying, what a happy ending. I'm so happy that happened." Right? Because you're being told what to think.
Right.
If it's a sad ending, it's a sad ending for everybody. Nobody went to Titanic and came out like, "Oh, I'm so happy that fucker drowned." Like nobody,
Right.
nobody came out thinking that. I'm sorry about that. I don't know if you can swear here, but I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
couldn't get that out without that thing. But like, really, think about it. Nobody said like, "Ah, I was ecstatic when that happened." I mean, he freezed and the hand looked so beautiful when he died. Like nobody said that, right?
Right.
Because you're technically being set up in a tone where how to feel.
Mm.
But people love Titanic, right?
Yeah.
Even though you felt bad. Now there's two layers to it. First of all, in wrestling, you can feel the way you want to feel. A lot of people are happy about something and a lot of people are sad about something. But to me, either way, you felt something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either way. Like, if you didn't feel anything from Titanic, now that way I would be sad. That way your time was wasted. Like, the Titanic was supposed to make you feel sad, and it did.
Mm.
Did you hate that it made you feel sad? Not really. Would I like I've watched Titanic. Will I watch it again? No. No, I will not. No, I will not. But I would I say like I wasted my time? No, I didn't.
No.
Same thing, I think. You can feel either way, which is the best thing. But either way, it made you feel. If it made you feel sad, then it was a sad ending, and you enjoy that. If it made your day, then it is the best happy ending ever. And that in itself is great. For the kids, it was a happy ending. So they were very happy. And for the adults who wanted something different, it was a bit of a sad ending.
Yeah.
Ah, so they were a bit sad. But like, what incredible thing. It wasn't like didn't want to go to Disney and then somebody dragged you and you were kind of bored the whole way. It wasn't that,
Mm.
right?
Right.
So I don't see like any trouble at all in
No.
that scenario. Right? To me, it is wrestling.
Yeah.
That's literally it. It is. I mean, WWE is the thing that made me a wrestler. Like when
Mm.
I decided to be a wrestler, I've only watched. I didn't know there was things outside of WWE. I didn't know it was called professional wrestling. Let me say
Just,
that one more time.
just, just
When I
thought it was.
decided to be a wrestler, I didn't know it was called professional wrestling. Like I couldn't say to my parents that what I wanted to become. Isn't that hilarious?
Mm.
Not even like how to become that. I couldn't say. I couldn't even say what it is exactly I was gonna be. The name of the profession, I didn't know. And most of India doesn't know it even now. Like even now, if I go back, and I usually do, and they ask me like, "What do you do?" and I say wrestling, they're like, "Oh, you're preparing for Olympics or something?" I'm like, "No, no, 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 not that one." Like I can try as much as I want. I have to say, WWE. That's what I do, and they go like, "Oh!" Like it hits right away.
Right.
But I still have to say it in Asia most likely, but in India specifically, I have to say it. There's no way I don't say it, and they understand what I do. That's how much WWE is.
Mm.
I mean, John Cena. Think of it like that. He's doing his last tour. I'm sad.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah.
He is the best. There's nobody ever will be like that. There will be 1,000 great wrestlers. There will be 1,000, but he might be the most unique, literally. Because I don't even know, like, I can like put him in the box of a wrestler. He is
Right.
like in everything. I think he is the most like he knew how to like in all reality knew how to make people feel. Yeah, like what people felt on like Jey Uso and the Rumble thing, it was that times 100 every week
Yeah.
for kids and adults.
Yeah.
He is the greatest. There's nobody would ever come close. He's the best. He really is. I like I might be a wrestler because of him. I don't know yet. I don't know specifically because it's quite a long time ago. Like it was like what, mm, like 15 years ago, give or take. Like I was, I think, 13, 14 when I first watched wrestling. And when I started watching it, it was right exactly when the rivalry between Jones and Edge was starting. Lita was with Edge.
Right. Yeah.
They did like a thing in Canada, and the spinner belt was just introduced. Like I didn't
Yeah.
know before
Yeah.
that. DX was doing their last run. Mm,
Yes.
it was, I think, 2013, 14, somewhere in
Mm.
there. No. Before maybe. Yeah, before. 7, 8, I think. No, not 7, 8. But yeah, somewhere in there. Like 8, 9, or some 10,
Mm.
give or take, close to there. Maybe 9. I don't know. Like I'm not really great in that time frame. But yeah, around then, and he's the best. Like I'm sad that he's gonna hang it up.
Mm.
But how incredible is that he's doing it? When was the last time an American wrestler did like a retirement tour? Like it's such a Japanese wrestler thing,
It is. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I was trying to
First of all,
think,
to
but
say I'm retiring,
yeah.
nobody does that. They know they're gonna make money afterwards.
Mm.
They know they're
Yeah.
gonna come back. They like to, but or they are cool. They are cool ones like Stone Cold.
Mm.
Just went out. He knew it was retirement. Nobody else knew. Shawn Michaels,
Yeah.
the coolest, the coolest.
Mm.
Uh, due to due to some things aligning, I went and watched WWE live uh, for the Saturday night main event in San Antonio, Texas,
Right. Right. Okay.
in January. I
Mm.
think the main event was Uso versus Gunther, I think,
Yes.
and I was watching it in the audience, and it was me, May, and I'm doing a documentary thing in India for wrestling, and the director of that documentary and the cameraman, the not really cameraman, I should say this, the chief cinematographer, the guy person who really thinks of all those things, and there's four of us, and we're sitting, and Shawn Michaels shows up. I have not screamed like that since I was like 15. I'm not joking. I don't even know where that came from.
Yeah.
I could not believe it. And I remember like, oh, like I am, yeah, a fan.
Yes.
Like Shawn Michaels did a super the Sweep Chin music, by the way, in that show.
Mm. Yes, that's right.
I'm so lucky
But I guess in that
because he doesn't
moment,
do those things anymore.
no.
We
But
didn't
that's
know he was gonna come,
no. But in that
and then he
moment,
shows up. Yeah,
you were that or those kids in Kyoto for that one moment when you saw Shawn Michaels.
yes,
You know,
that's what I'm saying.
that's what it
I
goes
will
right back
never
to.
forget that day. That's just it. I don't know, like, I think people call it 1,000 things. I call it a magic. That's the
Mm.
word I use for it.
Right. Mm.
And I think the reason ChocoPro is this way because ChocoPro has a strong magic. The magic in ChocoPro is strong. It it makes you believe. It makes you forget actually, not even believe. It makes you forget a lot of things. And people like that feeling when they forget. And I think best pros try this. When I have my matches, I tried it the best to have the magic. Because sometimes you can watch a match and it is the most athletically nice match and you can't give a shit. And sometimes it has nothing and you can't keep being seated. You get anxious, you get happy, you get sad, and you get frustrated, and it pisses you off, and then it makes you happy, and then it does all those things. I think it's magic. Sometimes that's all I think every wrestler should chase, and mm, that moment was magical. I remember jumping up because he did the switch in music. I'm so happy I got to saw it live. Like even if like just say by some twist of fate, I end up in a situation someday where I get to take one of those. It would still be more special because I was still like that moment of watching in live was, I think, will be more special to me, even if I'm with him. Like I've met a lot of like people like imagine like this. I met Edge,
Right.
got to talk to him for a second.
Yeah.
That shouldn't make any sense.
Right.
And it's not like I met him in like fan setting. We met backstage.
Yeah.
So like we met in just random cafeteria, both with our food. Like not even like oh hello, this is like not even that. So like those things shouldn't make sense. Like but and there's so many of those by the way. Like I have had people that was like those TV. You don't even believe those people like the way we were talking about movies and all
Mm.
those things. I've sat down, drank with those people now for hours. Like we
Yeah.
sat down, drank tequila. Like we have talked for like lengthy periods of time. We have gone back and forth. Like this, it is
Yeah.
ridiculous. But watching that in that sense, even if let's just say it happens to be between me and like just Shawn Michaels or or like any of those idols, and if we sat down and have a drink and we talk, and even if that does happen, it comes to true. That moment that I had when I sat down and watched him unexpectedly do a switch in music will prime all those. And I don't know why.
Yeah.
I have no idea why it is that way. Because in all sense, it should make sense for me to like sit and talk and do all the things and get to know him and like those things should be way more special. But it's not. I don't know why it is. I can imagine those because I have had those with different people that's are in the same category to me as Shawn Michaels, and it's completely very different.
Just that
But
magic
yeah,
struck.
it is. It's just, and I think it was the feeling because I was with like how should I say? Because I was with like people speaking Hindi, like the director of the documentary that I'm doing, a
Mm.
doc film actually, is from India, and he's like, I think he's close to 40 or something, but like he knows that. And then the cinematographer is also from India, and he's speaking Hindi. And I think it all those things match together our vibe, the way we talk about wrestling, because we
Right.
talk about what we saw on TV when we talk about wrestling. There's a big difference. When I talk with like May or Sakura-san, when I talk with anybody, the way I'm talking to you right now, we can talk about wrestling that I've seen done and I'm a part of. But when I speak Hindi, the only wrestling we're talking is the days of the dream. We're talking about days when we just sat in front of TV and just like, what's going to happen today? Like that thing. So I think all those things combined was just a rush.
Yeah.
And they were going crazy both. By the way, we forget about filming right away. Nobody filmed shit that day. I think they wanted to shoot my reactions on all those things as well.
Yeah.
Nobody shot
Yeah.
anything
Just
that
got
day.
lost in the
We
show.
didn't give a
Yeah.
shit. We did not give a shit. We were like, yeah, we were just doing this the whole time. Nobody worked.
Valiant, thank you so much for coming on
No,
the
no.
podcast today.
Oh, no, no, no. I
We
had
have
a
been
pleasure.
chatting for looks almost 90 minutes.
Oh wow, really? Oh my
Yeah, I
goodness.
did realise it was so long. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been
Oh no, of course.
absolute pleasure for you to come on today. I'm just going to do a
Yes.
little wrap up. Thank you
Oh
so
please.
much, guys, for tuning in today for this amazing interview. Keep tuning back into the channel. Hopefully, we will have a lot more interviews coming up very, very soon. But as always, leave a like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, and hopefully, we will see you guys soon. Bye, guys.